Hi, I'm Rick and welcome back to another one of my videos. I've seen online that the Mersey Farm is having a bit of a renovation, so I thought I'd come down and just show you what's going on and what was here before. So we're going to take a look around the site and just come with me. As you can see that the renovations is well on the way. Quite a bit of the building's been torn down already, and it's going to be extended into more rooms. So let's start with the big change. Premier Inn Hotels Limited submitted plans to demolish the Mersey Farm Brewers Fayre restaurant right next to its existing hotel on Carrington Lane. The demolition is part of a bigger plan to expand and reorganise the site, adding 43 new bedrooms with a 2-storey annex next to the hotel. Now that's a lot of extra room. The annex will be built in place of the restaurant, so if you've been to Brewers Fayre before, it might be a little bittersweet to see it go. But it's not just about adding bedrooms. The plans also include some big changes to the surrounding area. For one, the car park is getting an upgrade. The hotel's parking space will expand to accommodate 116 vehicles. That's even more space for guests, especially with the increase in demand. Along with the car park, the plans also feature improvements to the landscaping and the addition of a new external compound for machinery. So it's not just about rooms. Everything about the site is getting a facelift to make sure the hotel is more functional and appealing. So why are these changes happening? Well, Premier Inn says they've identified a growing demand for budget hotel accommodation in the area, especially given how close the site is to key locations like the Trafford Centre and Carrington Business Park. These are major attractions in the area for work and leisure and need more affordable rooms. The submission covers everything from the actual building to the new car park layout, and it's all about making sure the hotel expands without impacting the neighbourhood areas too much. I'm now walking back to Mersey Farm on Carrington Lane, and I'll show you some pictures taken in 1986 prior to the demolition of the building. The busy Carrington Spur is behind me, but I also wanted to show you an old building again, no longer there, but the older residents of the area will remember it. Here once stood Mersey House. If Mersey House was a private residence, it may have been built in the 18th or 19th century, when larger homes were often constructed along main roads like Carrington Lane. This was particularly true for prominent individuals or families involved in local economy who had some wealth. It's possible that the house could have been a manor or a private dwelling for someone involved in agriculture or industrial development in the area. I'm now going to show you what used to be here and why this place is called Mersey Farm. I would personally like to thank Trafford Library Studies for all their material and photographs in enabling me to show you what used to be here and the time they spent with me. I'd also like to thank Pat Colburn for a photograph of Mersey House. This is the former Mersey farmhouse. You can see the alterations in the brickwork over the years to keep it functional and repaired. In this picture you can see the farm is now completely derelict, and just poking in the middle in the background you can see All Saints Church. It was inevitable this land was going to have to be redeveloped, along with its neighbouring farm on Barracks Lane, known to me as a kid as Penny's Farm. In this picture you can see Magnolia Flats in the background and the old barn at the front. I'm sure many of us who grew up round here remember the farm, and if you have your own stories or memories, please leave them in the comments section. There are several invoices related to the property, from general household items to horseshoes from a local supplier on School Road, and corn, oats and bran from a supplier in Partington to replant on the land. The first person in the 1861 census tells us James Hodcroft was head of the house. He was aged 60 and lived with his wife, aged 54. They were here with their 6 children and their grandson. In the 1871 census, James is still head of the house, but his wife is no longer there, so I presume she must have died. In 1891, James is no longer on the census and has been replaced by his son Charles, who is now 45 years of age. His wife Anne Hodcroft is 44 and there are 8 children living there. Charles and Anne Hodcroft appear on the census records until 1911, and by 1921 Anne no longer appears on the records. Charles is now 75. His son James appears as assistant manager. By 1939, John Hodcroft, the grandson of Charles, is listed as a root crop farmer and head of the house, and later John Southern is the final owner before the land was completely sold off and he passed away in 1991. He was also a grandson of Charles, and the house and its contents were put up for auction. As we stand here today, it's hard to imagine that this bustling cityscape was once home to something completely different. An old farm for generations provided food, shelter and as a sense of community. The land that once echoed with the sound of horses, ploughs, farmhands has long been replaced by steel and glass of modern development. Thanks for watching, and if you like this content, please like, subscribe and share, and we'll see what happens at this development in the future. Until then, I'll see you on the next one.